Hello and welcome to an original If You Try This production. Today I'll be offering my C++ tutorial number 1, teaching you how to make the basic Hello World program. The compiler of my choice is wxdev C++. So now we'll jump right into it, creating the basic Hello World program. So our first thing we're going to do is select File, New, and we'll source file. So we'll get a blank document. So what we can do is add some header files into it. Include iostream. I'll explain these in a later tutorial. So we have include cstdlib. I'll include that. And also, if you're using Microsoft Visual C++, or Microsoft Visual C++ Express, whatever, you have to also add this, include, I think it was stdafx.h, like this. You have to include this if you're using, only if you're using Microsoft Visual C++. Otherwise, don't include this, it's not needed. Since I'm using Dev C++, I don't need it. So what you're going to need to type in next, we'll go using namespace std. This is another refer. What it does is it refers to another file located somewhere on your computer, telling it what's in it to include this, so the C++, so the compiler can understand the language better, or understand what you're going to do next. So yeah. So the next thing was type in int main. This is a function. I'll get more into these in a later tutorial. So int main, open parentheses, closing parentheses. Another thing, all C++ statements must end with a semicolon, excluding this the main. Nearly all C++ statements must end with a semicolon. You'll see why. So now let's type an open bracket. Let's put a closing bracket here. Let's type in our ending code. So I'm going to prepare it already. So we'll have in system, open parentheses, quotation marks, in capital letters, pause, ending quotation marks, closing bracket, semicolon. Let's also put in return 0, quotation marks. Okay, let's get some space in here. This is all we need. System pause. What it'll do is it will pause the console application so we can actually see it. Otherwise, it will just flash for a second and then it will disappear. And return 0. You just need it. I don't know why yet. A function always has to return something. In this case, it'll return 0. Nothing. So it'll return 0. So what we're going to do, we're going to cout to the console. So we're going to type in cout. Okay, what cout means is basically console output. It means that whatever follows will be outputted to the console. If you used a computer before, you've probably seen a console before. A black screen with lots of confusing code on it that just really goes in fast. So what we're going to do next, type in 2 less than signs. The less than signs means that the thing that follows is going to appear on the console. So then we're going to type in a double quote. So this is where the double quote is here, so this way the computer knows where to start and where to end. The words and stuff in the string is called a string because it's a bunch of words strung together. So in the double quote, we'll type in hello world. Then we'll end it with an exclamation mark and then another double quote telling it where to end. Now we're going to type in 2 more less than signs. So this way. Now as I told you before, the less than sign shows it where to start and where to end. But we're not actually typing in more. So if we want to type in more, we can do that. But instead what we want to do, we're going to type in end L. and then a semicolon. All C++ statements end in a semicolon. And end L, which basically means end line. What it'll do is it will end the line and start it all on a new, and start then the rest of the code on a new line in the console. Without this, any code that follows would appear on the same line as hello world. So now to execute and compile, if you're going to do execute, compile, and run. If you're using Microsoft Visual C++, you have to press build and run, or debug and run, something like that, debug and run. I'll set compile and run. Save it, whatever. Hello world. Save, and the compile progress should appear. Hold on, let me fast forward this. Okay, and when we compile it, this is what appears. Hello world, the exclamation mark at the end. Press any key to continue. If we hadn't put the end L line right here, then press any key to continue would appear right here next to hello world. Yeah. So if you're a beginner, you've successfully created your first C++ console application. And you've just officially created your first program. Although it's not much, we'll get into more advanced stuff in my later tutorials. So this has been a Retry This production, and I hope you enjoyed.